why do I keep making the wrong decisions? All right, so there's this thing called the anatomy of life, and it just talks about what we are exposed to in life, whether through our sensory, our senses, whether it's our eyes, our ears, our mouth, our touch. What we're exposed to creates thoughts, and thoughts eventually creates emotions, and emotions eventually create an action, and action, and can turn into habits, and habits over time create your character, and then it can lead all the way to a destination. And so when you feel like your choices, your actions are constantly being wrong, I want to back you back to what is influencing your actions.
Go fly life, bitch can't do it like me. Fresher than a new white tee. Fly life, we gon' eat. Fly life, way too deep. Fly life, fly life, fly life, fly life. Bitch can't do it like me. Fresh like a new white tee. Fly life, we gon' eat. Fly life, way too deep.
What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Fly Life Podcast. It's your host, Fly. Listen, we got another great episode planned for you. Listen, the topic today, the questions today, it's going to get real live. It's going to get real interesting. I can't wait to answer the questions for today. But before we do that, you already know. Come here, friend. Come here, friend. Hey, girl. Come here. Have you liked? Have you subscribed? Are you sharing this with other people? I need you to do it. What you waiting on, girl? Come on, friend. What we doing, friend? Come on. Listen, I need you to like. I need you to share. I need you to subscribe. Listen, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Fly Inside Out. We have various different types of fly shows on there, but the Fly Life Podcast is definitely on our YouTube channel, Fly Inside Out. Now, on all podcast platforms, follow Fly Life Podcast. That's simple. Fly Life Podcast. Listen, I cannot wait to get into this episode. But before we do that, we got our teen shout out of the week. Of the episode. I'm excited. We shout out an amazing teenager today that I actually have watched grow up. And so that's why I'm shouting her out today, because I cannot believe that she's going to be a graduate of the class of 2024. She's entering her senior year right now. And I'm like, oh my God. All right. But I got to shout out Riley Adams. Shout out to Riley. Listen, Riley, I can't believe you're a senior. I remember you was running around as a little toddler with my glasses on. To see you as a senior, beautiful woman. You modeled for June Marie, my clothing brand. Wow, I'm amazed. I'm super proud of you. And I know great things are ahead of in your future. And so I just had to shout you out. Listen, if y'all want me to shout you out, email us at fly@theflylife.org. Again, fly@theflylife.org. Email us nominating a teen that you think we should shout out that's doing good things, that's truly represent what it means to be fly inside and out. Or if you think you represent what it means to be fly inside and out and you want me to shout you out, email me why. All right. Again, fly@theflylife.org. All right. Listen, before we get inside topic today, y'all know I got to give y'all my disclaimer. Y'all ready? Here's the disclaimer. This is simply advice. My thoughts and views on a subject. Please do your own research. Have conversations with your parents or a trusted guardian before considering any of this advice. All right? Again, this is simply advice, my thoughts and views on a subject. Please do your own research. Have conversations with your parents or a trusted guardian before considering any of this advice. All right? All right, cool. So, got the disclaimer out the way. Listen, y'all ready for this week's topic? Sis, I got questions. That's the name of this week's topic. Sis, I got questions. All right? So, listen, man. If you have questions, what are you doing? You ain't downloaded the Fly Life app yet? Make sure you download the Fly Life app. It's free. You can put your anonymous questions. Nobody will know it's you in the form, on, in the chat space on the Fly Life app. And then you never know. I may ask your question and answer your question on a podcast. Okay. So we got some real teenage questions. These really came from young girls. And I'm going to answer the questions today the best I can with the wisdom and knowledge I have. If you just this is your first episode, here's some of my background. I've been mentoring girls for over 15 years. I started Fly Life in 2010. I've been mentoring girls through my nonprofit for over 13 years, and I've taught and inspired and spoke to and mentored thousands of girls, and have spoken to over 100,000 of teen girls over the decade plus that I've been doing what I do. I have some experience, but I don't know everything. I'm always open to learn and grow, and a lot of times I learn from young people. And so my advice is strictly based off all the facts and things I've gathered over the years, and even some of my real life experiences. Right? All right. So let's get into these questions. Y'all ready? Question number one. Ooh, should we start off hot or should we start off warm? Let me see. Let's start off warm. How do you know if someone is using you? All right. How do you know if someone is using you? I think we talked about this in one of the episodes where we are talking about healthy relationships. And so one thing that I always use as a gauge or a measuring tool to figure out if somebody is using me or not is the relationship, whether it's a friendship or romantically, is it adding value and receiving value? Is it adding value and receiving value? It should be an exchange happening. If you feel like you're the only one adding value, you're the only one showing up, you're the only one buying gifts, you're the only one giving, you're the only one doing, you're the only one encouraging, you're the only one, 9 times out of 10, they're using you. They may not be doing it from a ill place. They may not even know that they're doing it. So sometimes it's not about just going off on people and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes it's about simply having a conversation like, hey, sometimes I feel in our relationship that, it's me doing most of the giving. Having that conversation with a respectable tone, in the right setting where other people aren't around so they won't feel embarrassed. And all those different things matter. But going to that person and expressing how you feel. And if you do that and then things still don't begin to change, now you may need to reevaluate that relationship. Right? Because sometimes people could just be so caught up in their own issues that they're like, oh man, you're right, my bad. Let me begin to reciprocate because I value your relationship. I value this relationship. I value your friendship or who you are to me, right? And so, but yeah, if you feel like you are doing majority of the giving, and it doesn't have to just be materially, it could be materials, it could be money, but it also can be time, it could be energy, it could be encouragement, it could be, if you feel like they're constantly draining you, but they're never depositing back into you, you may need to consider what role that relationship plays in your life. Now, there are some relationships I have as a mentor where I know that my role in that particular person's life is to pour in. Their role isn't to pour back into me. And the way I tell my mentees, the way that I feel, thanked or appreciated, I would say, would be just when I see them wanting to better themselves based off whatever it is I'm mentoring them in. When I see them putting forth the energy to better themselves in that area, that's how I feel appreciated. But I'm not expecting them now to pour into me. That's not the role of that particular relationship because I am the mentor. But now if it's a friendship, there should be an exchange. That should be me showing up for my friend, being a great friend, being loyal, being dependable, being there for them, being a shoulder to cry on, being somebody that's a cheerleader for them, to pushing them towards their dreams. But if on the other end of the stick, they're not doing any of those things for me, and it's like, what are they doing for me? Then you have to reevaluate. Is this truly a friendship? And so just really prioritizing and rearranging which relationships are what and what place they have in your life. All right. So I hope I answered your question. But yeah, don't be used. Communicate. And after you communicate, if you feel like nothing shifted or changed, then maybe you need to place that relationship or rearrange that relationship. Or depending on the severity of the issue, walk away from the relationship. But do not be so desperate and so thirsty to be loved that you position yourself to be used over and over again because you just need to feel validated by a relationship. That shows me that you haven't really understood your own value and worth. No relationship is 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 important enough to allow yourself to be used. It's just not. All right? You gotta love yourself enough and understand that God has a way of bringing healthy relationships in your life when you don't settle. All right? Great question. Moving on to the next question. All right. So, next question on our topic, sis, I got questions. Here's one of your questions you have. Do you personally think you have to be in a relationship that may end up in marriage? Do you personally think you have to be in a relationship that may end up in marriage? Now, no, I don't think so. I mean, every dating situation is like not to get married. Especially at your age, you're teenagers. I think y'all are just starting. I like you. You know, at 13, who you are at 13 is not who you're going to be at 23 or 33 or 43. So now I do happen to have, out of my hundreds of friends that I went to school with, I have 3 relationships that I can think of off the top of my head that they're still together and they dated as teenagers. But it's rare. It does happen. But I do have, 2 that I actually communicate with out of those 3 that are married, and they were together as teenagers, and I watched them be together as teenagers, and now they're married with kids, decades later. So it is possible. But I think at an early age, when you first start liking and dating people, it's about learning who you are, learning what you like, learning people. And I always tell teenagers, don't take anything too serious too fast. Dating someone, to me, my definition of dating is getting to know someone. Maybe y'all are talking exclusively, far as, liking each other exclusively, but it's not serious to where it's like, don't talk to nobody else. You mine, you my property, and all that kind of stuff. No, 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 no. You should never get to that place. That's possessive. But you do want to be in a place where you're getting to know people, knowing what you like, knowing what you don't like. But I don't think that teenagers should really get too serious too fast, because you're still growing, you're still evolving, you're still learning who you are, what you like, and what you want to be. And so, but there is nothing wrong with being in a, liking someone and having feelings and talking to people as a teenager. I don't think it's anything wrong with that. You have feelings too, but I do want you to be wise in how fast you get too deep, because you both are evolving individuals. And so, but I don't think that it has to, like, I'm only going to date to get to marriage. Some people do believe in that ideology, but I'm not one to necessarily think that, especially for teenagers. Now, at my age, in my season of life, I don't do a lot of casual dating. But I'm also, newly single with a daughter. So for me, as a divorcee, I'm not necessarily like just like, oh, I'm just dating to date just to have fun at my age, in my late 30s. For me, it does have to it has to have potential to go somewhere. Like, oh, I can see potential in this for me to give my time, because my time is so valuable. I run 3 companies. I'm a mom. I have a life. I have friends. I have things I want to do too. So my time is valuable. So I'm not going to just be casually dating that has no potential, no purpose at my age. And so it depends on where you are in life as well. All those things factor in. But I do, feel like as you get older and more serious and more established and understanding yourself more, what you desire more, what you want to bring to the table more, I do think there should be some type of purpose in dating. But as teenagers, I think you're just learning, you're learning. So that is my answer to your question. Hopefully I answered it for you. All right, next question on Sis I Got Questions. How do I be myself even though my friends judge how I act? All right, so it's kind of a vague question, because I'm trying to see whether they're judging. Are they judging harmful behavior? Like, are you acting out and it's a harmful way, and they're like, hey, you need to chill out with that. Like, you can't keep getting drunk at these parties and doing underage drinking. You're going to get us in trouble. What are they judging? So it's really hard for me to answer this question directly. But if they are judging unhealthy behavior, they're showing up as a true friend, because they're basically saying, hey, sis, what you doing is problematic, and it's going to probably end you up in a destination you don't want to be. Hey, sis, You carelessly, being sexually active carelessly and having all these different partners and not protecting yourself, probably going to end you up in a destination you don't want to be in. So it depends on what actions they're judging. And here's the thing, there's a difference between being yourself and the things you do. So, for example, being myself, I like to laugh. I'm silly. I like to. I'm inspirational. I'm an encourager. These are some of the things that represent me at my core. That's who I am. Things I do could be, you know, criticizing someone. All right. If someone judges that I'm criticizing people too harshly, they're not coming at me or coming against me. They're coming against an action that I'm doing that has harm. But now, if someone's telling me, you need to stop being encouraging all the time, now you're coming against who I am. That's who I am. Matter of fact, on the spiritual gifts test, encourager is one of my highest gifts as a person, because I believe in like spiritual gift tests, personality tests. I take all those different things to help me understand myself more. But encourager is who I am. 9 times out of 10, if you're around me, I'm gonna probably encourage you, or cheer you on. That's who I am to my core. So if you don't want me to be that, then now you're coming against who I am. And so now I have to say, okay, our friendship, are you going to be able to accept that I'm encouraging? And if not, maybe we need to reevaluate the friendship. But now, if somebody is judging an action that could potentially be harmful, maybe they are showing up as a friend. So you have to ask yourself, what type of things about you are they judging? Is it core principles of who you are, or is it actions that could be deemed as harmful? And if it's that case, you might want to sit back and say, maybe I do need to think about how I act in these instances. But if it's stuff that's the core of who you are, never put yourself in a situation where you allow people to change the core of who you are. That's your superpower. You have to show up in every space as who you are, and show up in every space as your super self in the world, because that's why you are you. That's why there's no one else like you. There's no one else that has your fingerprint. There's no one else can do you like you do you. So don't let anybody change you. You know what I mean? So I hope I answered that question for you. All right. Next question. Ooh, these are good. Why do I keep making the wrong decisions? Why do I keep making the wrong decisions? All right, so there's this thing called the anatomy of life, and it just talks about what we are exposed to in life, whether through our sensory, our senses, whether it's our eyes, our ears, our mouth, our touch. What we're exposed to creates thoughts, and thoughts eventually creates emotions, and emotions eventually create an action, and action, and can turn into habits, and habits over time creates your character, and your character, and then it can lead all the way to a destination. And so when you feel like your choices, your actions are constantly being wrong, I want to back you back to what is influencing your actions. What is influencing your decisions? A lot of time we we feed ourselves trash, but want to produce health, or want to produce something fruitful, or want to produce something successful, but we constantly feed ourselves trash. It's like, what are you listening to? Like, what kind of music do you listen to all the time? What are the lyrics saying? What are they telling you to do? What are they telling you is okay? What are they telling you are the norms? What are you listening to all the time? What are you watching all the time? What are you talking about all the time? What environments are you putting yourself around? What energy are you around all the time? And if it's not good, then a lot of times those things impact our decisions. All right? When you get from a thought to a feeling to a decision, then it turns into an action. Like, all that stuff impacts us. What is influencing you? That would be my question to you. I keep making the wrong decisions. What's influencing you? You got to check the influence. And if you want different decisions, you got to change the way you think, and how you, and when you you got to change. How do you change the way you think? Is you got to change. I got to say that clearer, because I got to get that straight across. So we could just edit it. But yeah, if you want to change your decisions, you got to change the way you think. And if you want to change the way you think, you need to change what is influencing your thoughts? What are you being exposed to? What are you exposing yourself to on a consistent basis that's feeding your thoughts, that's eventually going to feed your emotions, which your emotions are eventually going to lead to you making a decision, and your decisions are going to turn into an action. And so, how the way we back up from making the wrong decisions and creating the wrong actions, we got to deal with our thought life. We got to deal with our influences. What is influencing me to think this way? Why am I always thinking about fighting all the time? Like, if she say something, I bust on her face right now. Like, what are you listening to? I beat that. You listen to that all day? You listen to that all day and you think somebody tried you and you're gonna be all calm and peaceful? No, you got back in my day with knuck if you butt, like you got knuck in your butt in your system. You got bust in the head in your system. So if you got that in your system, guess what you're gonna do when something pop off? You gonna bust them in the head, sis. You gonna get suspended, sis. Or you gonna go to jail, sis. Like that's just real talk. So we got to get back to a place where we are creating a healthy balance in what we feed ourselves on a consistent basis. I used to be a fighter, real talk, fight, cuss you out all the time. That was my energy, but that's also was my influence. The schools I was at, I grew up in a city called College Park, Georgia. Growing up, I was around some fighters. Then I moved from College Park to Clayco, and I was around some more fighters. Like, I was just around a lot of fighting energy. Then in my house, my mama was a fighter. My family is some fighters. I came from fighting and violence. That's how I was raised to resolve conflict. They disrespect you, you handle that. But as I got older and learned that that wasn't the best way to resolve conflict, and that there was another way that I could resolve it by maintaining healthy relationships and without putting myself in positions to where, like at 16, I get locked up for busting somebody in the head with a golf club. True story. You know what I'm saying? How do I avoid those type of situations? And what I've learned is that I had to start feeding myself something different, being around a different type of energy, understanding and developing that skill set within myself to resolve conflict without being violent. And now that I know that when conflict arises, my number one go-to isn't bust them in the face, cuss them out, call their mama a B, you stink. I don't go there anymore, but it's I had to change what I was feeding myself. So I challenge you, if you're making the wrong decisions, get around people that are making better decisions than you. Start listening to podcasts. Hint, hint. No, you know what I'm saying? Start listening to podcasts. It's going to help you make better decisions, change the way you think, expose you to new ideas, concepts, ways, perspectives. Like, you're going to have to feed yourself, whether what you watch, what you listen to, what you talk about, who you're hanging around, the energy around. You're going to have to change that in order to change your decisions. I am passionate about that topic because I've seen it happen in my life. I know where I came from, razors in my mouth, loving guns, whole bunch of other stuff I liked, to where I am now. All right. And it took me changing what was influencing me on a consistent basis. Now I have my mom, I might listen to a turn up song, but I can't listen to that all day, every day. Oh no. That's going to feed something in me and grow something in me that I don't want to manifest. Hope that helps, sis. All right. So, last question for our topic today, Sis I Got Questions. How do you overcome a broken heart? It's from one of our teens. How do you overcome a broken heart? Whew, this is why I always tell y'all, be slow to get too serious in y'all relationships romantically. Because a broken heart is hard. Man, I've been there. I've been divorced. They all know me. I'm keeping transparent. My divorce is one of the hardest things I ever been through in my life. And we're still, friends and have a healthy co-parenting relationship. But just that separation, when you have set in your heart, especially as a girl, I can't speak from the masculine energy from men, but I know for me, when I set in my heart that I'm gonna be with somebody forever, and then it doesn't happen, whoo, that's hard. That's a hard disappointment to deal with, because I've given my soul to a person, I've given my emotions to a person, I've given my body to a person, I've given my energy, my everything, and then it doesn't work out. And it's hard. It's so hard. I know during that time, and I can only speak because that's a recent breakup that I had and a heartbreak that I had just last year, is that I had to do what I just talked about. I had to feed myself worthiness, meaning keep my esteem healthy, built up, encourage myself, um, understand that even though it didn't work out, I'm still worthy of love. Even though it didn't work out, I'm not a horrible person. You know, even though it didn't work out, accepting accountability for the things that I did wrong and making a commit to do better the next time. Even though it didn't work out, learning to forgive what was done wrong to me. Even though it didn't work out, I had to take myself through a process of building me up and just understanding that, you know, disappointment happens in life. Everything's not always going to go our way. Everything that you set out to do may not end where you wanted it to end, but life goes on. And I still have to maintain my peace and my joy and understand. Here's the thing about relationships. And I got this, and I'm paraphrasing the late, great Nipsey Hussle. But we do not possess anyone. We don't. I don't own anybody, not even my significant other, not even my husband, not even my child. I don't own them. I have been blessed with the opportunity to steward an experience with people. And some experiences are for a lifetime and some experiences are for a season. But all I can do is take the value out of that season and learn and grow and go forward. But never make a person so high in your heart that you feel like you can't live without them. Because now you have replaced God or whoever you worship as that person. Like, no. Keep people in their proper place. You could love a person with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul. But at the same time, that may not always be healthy. You get what I'm saying? It's like I could love you, but there's a part of my heart that I also have to protect for me and God and my creator. There's also a part of my soul that I have to protect and keep healthy and balanced for me. And I can love you and be there and unconditional, but I also don't own you and you don't own me. And it's about keeping that healthy balance. So if something ever, God forbid, happens to the relationship, you're able to still have your value, your worth, your significance intact. Cry when you need to cry. Go to therapy if you need to go to therapy. Talk it out with someone you trust and love, but move forward. All right. But if you feel like you can't go on without a person, like I just can't go on, I don't want to live life, you've placed that person in the unhealthy space. All right. No one should be more valuable to you than you. I'm going to say that again. Nobody should be more valuable to you than you in your relationship with God. Because you have to love people as you love yourself. You got to keep that space of loving yourself no matter the relationship. So if it does break, that you have enough love for yourself to stand back up and keep going forward and heal on a journey. Now, if it's, I went to therapy. I had trusted friends that I confided in to help me walk through my emotions and talk it out. I talked to my mom a lot. I spent a lot of time with my mom. I started doing things fun, intentionally, just different things that helped me heal through the breakup. But I stayed committed to knowing that I was worthy, that I was a great person, and that I can go forward and life can still be great. So stay optimistic even after a breakup. I want to read a statistic to you that I found shocking and it blew my mind. So these are results from the CDC, and that's the Center of Disease Control. It says results from the CDC 2021 Youth Risk Behavior Survey shows these trends. Nearly 3 in 5 teen girls, 57%, said they felt persistently sad or hopeless. Woo, 57%, more than half girls say, 3 out of 5 girls say they feel persistently sad or hopeless. That's the highest rate in a decade. And 30% said that they have seriously considered dying by suicide, a percentage that risen by nearly 60% over the past 10 years. That bothers me. And when you go talk to these girls like I have over the last 10 plus years, a lot of it go back to relationships, not feeling valued, not feeling validated, not feeling enough. Listen, sis, you have to love you enough to love you enough when a relationship breaks up that you know you are valued, you are significant, and don't allow any person to be put in a position to determine your value and your significance. That's a space for only you and God, sis. Only you and God. All relationships aren't going to be forever. I'm sorry to say that. I wish we had the fairy tale they taught us on TV, but it don't always work that way. So what I'm saying to you is this. If it breaks up, you got to love yourself enough and say, it hurts. I feel bad. But get back up and keep going because your life is still valuable. There is still a love out there that you can experience that's going to be healthier than the last love. But you got to love yourself enough and keep that place of significance and value and worth only for you and God. So when people come and go, you are still strong. Your foundation is still anchored in the right things. All right? That's my advice on how to overcome breakups. Now, got to leave you with the fly wisdom tip of the week. Y'all ready? This is good. I had to write it down. I write these tips down because, look, fly wisdom, I don't just throw it out there haphazardly, right? Don't rush to get in a relationship without the tools to navigate through conflict. All right? Let's break that down a little bit more. Don't rush to get into a relationship without the tools to navigate through them in a healthy way. Here's the thing. In a relationship, there's going to be conflict. If you so quick to want to rush and get in a relationship and you don't know how to navigate through conflict, when conflict happens, the relationship has the potential to damage you. We get in relationships so quick, but we don't always develop the tools necessary to navigate through them in a healthy way. Because here's the thing about all relationships, because we're human, conflict is normal. It's going to happen. Even if y'all just have a simple disagreement. Even if y'all have a major disagreement, how do you navigate through that? Do you have the tools to navigate through that without being harmful to the other person, without being harmed, without damaging? Like, do you even have that? If they decide to walk away, do you have the tools to stay strong and to know that you are still valued and still worthy and still enough and go forward despite maybe being disappointed? If you don't have those tools, you may not be ready to rush into a relationship, especially as a teenager, because your brain is still developing. So that's my tip of the week. Don't be so quick to rush in. Be quicker to gain those tools. Add those tools to your tool belt, like Batman, who I say is the best superhuman and superhero ever. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of DC Comics. But hey, we ain't going to talk about that. That's another discussion. I'm a Batman lover. But add those different tools to your belt so you can have what's necessary to navigate through relationships before being so quick to rush into a serious one and not have those tools. And now the relationship that was meant to add value to your life ends up being a hindrance because it's broken you. All right? Listen, y'all know how we end every episode. We say our Fly Life Creed. Repeat after me. I am full of faith, full of love, and full of youth. I'm fly inside out. Listen, thank you again for tuning in to another episode. Again, friend, sis, what we doing? Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.
Bitch can't do it like me. Ay, fresh like a new white tee. Fly life, we gon' eat. Fly life way too deep. It's giving fly. I'm throwing fists. I'm in my bag. I'm too legit. It's giving queen. It's giving rich. They for the vibe. Heavily sent. No, this ain't tag. No, this ain't tag, but they know that I'm it. I'm in my bag, making good grades. I got that job and ain't got no permits. I see some else never quit. I'm from the home of the brave, little baby. I'm coming as hard as it gets. I shine bright like neon. This prime time, no Dion. We teed up, no free.